Thank you, Mr. Secretary. It's afternoon now, so good afternoon. Wanted to follow up on some comments earlier. Representative Saylor had made some comments or some questions on accountability. And I'm sitting here and I listened to a number of my colleagues. Representative Parker talked about fairness. Representative Kempf, Representative Grell talked about the areas they are from. I'm one of the lucky guys who grew up in Conestoga Valley School District and represent Conestoga Valley. Yeah.
Don't tell Jerry.
Well, but here's the point. You know, you look at the funding, and I look at what we're trying to push out and what the governor's pushing out at Conestoga Valley. And I live in a very, very middle-class township, and people can come to my house in my area, and they can see that. And under this plan, they're going to get hammered harder, you know, according to what Representative Grell and Kemp said. And that's unfortunate. It's an area that is. It's very modest. People live very modestly in my area. But that being said, coming up with the accountability, if we are going to dish or put this money out there, of course, 25% of the school districts are going to receive 56% of the $400 million. How are we going to hold them accountable? I mean, there's general standards. But what happens when they don't meet those standards? And you know, in fairness, my district includes part of Lancaster City School District. And I understand that. So there's a little bit of a, you know, there's some differences between, you know, Lancaster City and Conestoga Valley. But like I said, CV's not necessarily a, you know, an extremely well-to-do school district either. We do have some commercial and what have you, but maybe you can just comment on the accountability again moving forward. And I want to let you know that this is going to be a struggle for people in my district.
Absolutely. So first, to address the issue of accountability. So we put the standards in place. So we're starting to play with what it is we expect to see, how it is we expect school districts to invest in, and what measures we believe will show that those standards are being met. There are currently some systems in place that have been, you know, that the department engages in, and some that have been written in the law. So you look at, you know, for example, focus and priority schools. You also look at school improvement initiatives. So first, I guess the easier aspect of it is we can look at some of what exists to hold school districts accountable to the standards that we are now creating. But we can't rely solely on that. We're going to have to move forward and recreate some greater standards of accountability. And while we do that, you know, we're going, as we set the expectations of what schools have to meet, what we do when they don't will continue. We'll have to beef up some because we have systems in place for focus and priority. And, you know, what I'd like for us to do is really take a look at how we will celebrate, you know, those school districts that do meet those standards. So really the carrot and you know, approach.
I mean, I appreciate that. I think Chairman Adolph said very early on that we all care very deeply about education, but I'm not convinced that continuing to throw money at some of these school districts is going to be the answer. And I think that's the challenges that we have today. So yeah. I do appreciate you taking the time and providing more input. Thank you.
I appreciate it. And I think it's important to say it's not, you know, not looking at throwing money it's looking at investing money with the accountability. Because I would agree, if we don't put accountability, it is throwing money.
Well, I think that's the goal. We want to make sure it is investing because we have a lot of challenges throughout the Commonwealth. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.